Get ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here we go, career starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to race number 3 of the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. Here with Goat Locker, we are at the famed Road America road course all the way up here in Cheesehead Country, way up here in Wisconsin. And folks, it's going to be an absolute blast of a race. See if Patrick Dravitt can go 2 for 2, winning an Indy last week, and see if he can get it done here tonight on the road course at Road America. Good evening, folks. I'm the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Got Daniel Cunningham right beside of me, co-commentating, and as always, great, awesome producer, Mr. Lucas Lyons in production here this evening live for B-Speed. Daniel, buddy, how the hell have you been? We was at an oval last week. Went from road course to oval. Now we're back on a road course. I mean, kind of literally throwing everybody for a curveball at this point.
Yeah, you're right, Jake. This is going to be a good one, though. I mean, these guys, the first 2 weeks, you can't get much more different than what we had for the 2 tracks starting off. And we had 2 really fantastic battles. Last week might have been some of the most fun racing I've ever watched on iRacing. So we'll see how these guys can keep that going here this week.
Yeah, I mean, everybody would love to see more ovals. We need more ovals, but they got to throw the road courses in there, I guess, for the road course fanatics. And, you know, we're here at Road America, which does have a lot of crazy turns. It's had a lot of wipeout points. NASCAR Xfinity Series has ran here a couple of times. This was, matter of fact, Daniel, this was the same track where Noah Gragson, I guess you could say, spilled his Cheerios on that long back straightaway and spilled his Cheerios and ended up taking out about 20 of them back there and had a track blocker. This was the same exact track.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy with Sage Karam in that one. And, you know, NASCAR ran here a bunch. Tyler Reddick actually got his first, I think it was his first cup win here at Road America, battling against Chase Elliott. So, yeah, they've had a lot of good moments here. But you know what? We don't care about stock cars tonight. We're here to watch these open wheel guys go out here and blast around this place.
Yeah, I mean, we're absolutely ready to see how that is going to work out. We'll check out real quick our race details for this evening. And there you see it right there. We got 40 laps, 45 mile per hour on the pit road speed limit. That tire said, Daniel, you might can give everybody a little bit of a heads up on how that's going to go as far as these tires goes. But obviously with 12 to 15 laps on a full tank of fuel and that mandatory tire change, that's basically the same thing of what we was looking at when we was at the Daytona road course for the season opener.
Yeah, it's the same rules we had for Daytona. So these guys do have unlimited sets of tires in the pits. We've got that primary and the alternate compound that we talked about before. Primary's a little bit harder, going to last a little bit longer. The alternate's softer, go a little faster, but they fall off. And then also, in addition to having to run both of those tire compounds, whichever one they pick for qualifying, they're going to have to start on that same tire compound for the race. So be interesting to see who decides to do what as far as which tire they pick and how they decide to approach that here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that when they was at Daytona, had the softer tire compound, had the original tire compound, or or just original, I guess that's what you would call it, I guess, was the original tire compound out of all that as well. Real quick, before we get into the around the track, let's see if we can look at our schedule and let everybody know with kind of what we're aiming up to be. We got the Daytona Road Course. We already got done with that. Obviously, with the Indy Oval, with Patrick Dravitt getting that crazy win that we saw last week. And obviously, Road America tonight. Going to be up in Cheesehead Country twice with Road America, and then go to the Milwaukee Mile next week. And then you go to Sebring, which is another road course, and then Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, then Long Beach, and then the Nashville Super Speedway to end it out for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series for the Summer Series here with Goat Locker. Well, Lucas Lyons, our great producer, he's took some laps here at Road America. At least, I mean, he got one clean one in more or less. So this is Around the Track with Lucas Lyons.
Welcome back to another segment of Around the Track for Goat Locker Racing IndyCar Series here at Road America, sponsored by Lincoln Tech. Coming to our fly lap here on this long straightaway into turn one, it can be a good passing zone if you can dive down onto the inside of somebody with the draft that you get on this long straightaway into the short chute into turn three. You basically want to try to follow in line behind somebody until the exit of turn three, because you have another long straightaway, as you see here, underneath the bridge into a hard braking zone of turn five, which is a left-hander. You want to use as much of the track as possible exiting the corner. Going up the hill, you want to use the hill to your advantage into this braking zone, into the kink of turn 7, which actually you don't have to brake for this corner. Going down into turn 8, which is another hard left-hander of Curry Downs, into the carousel. I like to hit it as a double apex to get to run into the kink of turn 11 into another long straightaway of pedal bottom. You want to be careful with the kink to not get loose, because it is very easy to overdrive that corner. Heading into the heavy braking zone into Canada corner, it is very easy to accidentally overdrive your mark into this corner and slide into the sand trap. Now coming through the Ben Mitchell bend, it's actually just a lifting zone through here. Now into the final corner through Hawk Tunnel to complete our lap here at Road America. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for this race. I'm going to keep running laps, but I'm going to send it back to Jake and Daniel up in the booth to finish out our pre-race.
And folks, that was Around the Track with our great producer, Lucas Lyons. Lucas, thank you very much for that one lap. And Daniel, I mean, a lot of turns. We saw 14 turns here tonight at Road America. A lot of hazards all the way around this racetrack. What's one of those hazards that really sticks out in your mind as these guys are going to have to fight it out here this evening?
Well, I can tell you there's two that stick out to me. Number one, you saw that Corvette bridge. I think it was about turn 3 or 4. I lose track at this place. I think I wrecked there a time or 12 when I was trying to turn some practice here earlier and get familiar with it. See it on the screen there, the Corvette bridge. And the other thing I noticed too, there's a lot of sand traps and gravel traps, whatever you want to call them, right offline here. And we saw it on Lucas's onboard lap that there's a lot of gravel on the track. And I could be wrong, but I think he was the only one that was out on track earlier when he was filming this little segment for us. So we both know Lucas pretty well, and he likes to go full bore. So maybe he might have pulled a little bit of that out of there once or twice.
Yeah, might have busted his tail one good time to try to get in there, try to get the best lap that he possibly could to get it for you, the fans. But hey, I'll be honest with you. I mean, he drove it a hell of a lot better than I would have, because I would have slammed on the brakes, locked them up, and I would have went through the sand too fast, and I would have hit the wall. Guarantee you.
Yeah, that happened to me a bunch. Like I said, this track's 4 miles long, man. I lose track of where I'm at some of these ovals we go to. So you throw 4 miles and 14 turns in there, and I think I might need to plug my GPS in the next time I race here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks, I mean, I'll have to figure that out as well. Well, folks, they got about 18 seconds left in qualified and our grid here tonight. We haven't got it yet. Actually, we'll go ahead real quick, get you the track info. And we just saw it 14 turns, a little over 4 miles, just a hair over 4 miles, Elkhart Lake. Wisconsin. Yeah, there for a second. I had to make sure I got that one right. Opened all the way back in 1955. So, in the month of September. Big old track right here. And like I said, I mean, a lot of hazards, a lot of bridges all the way around this place. Daniel, real quick before we get to the grid presented by Lincoln Tech, what's one driver that you're going to be keeping your eye on here this evening?
Just based solely off of what I saw in qualifying, Brian Provo's making what I believe it's his first start in this series this season, for the summer series, and he put down an absolute heater to take the pole position. So, we saw Regis Clark had a really good run at Daytona. We've seen Tyler Justice have a good run last week, throwing some challenges, but I'm curious to see what that 08 car is going to be able to do from the pole and who might be able to mount a challenge for him here tonight.
Well, we'll see how that ends up working out. 40 laps here tonight at Road America. Let's get the grid fired up. And starting on the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner, you mentioned it just a second ago, is the 08 of Brian Provo. Gets it on the pole with a 146.22, just about 6/1000ths faster than what he ran in practice. Absolutely blew everybody's doors off. We'll be starting right beside of him to his left side, not his right side like it would be at an oval, but to his outside on the left will be Tyler Justice starting from P2. Jake Elliott said home track for him. He'll start from P3 with Regis Clark, who won at Daytona the season opener in P4. Samuel Egg and Zachary Minnis will be 5th and 6th, with Jamie Lemke starting in P7. Kevin Price will roll off from P8. Devin Smith will roll off from P9. And Jake Ham, fresh off his Retro 87s win presented by Cruising Classics last night at Charlotte, he'll roll off from P10.
And rounding out the rest of our field tonight, starting in 11th, is going to be Tyler White with Brandon Evans in the 39 to his right. Ricky Sisk Jr. starting in 12th. Brandon Wallace, everybody's fan favorite that we all like to make fun of here, rolling off in 14th tonight. Jason Kristen is going to be starting in 15th, and rounding out our field is going to be Brock Price in 16th.
It is the 16-car field here tonight for race number 3 of the Lincoln Tech Indy Car Series. And real quick, Lincoln Tech, obviously Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to other students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. Folks, that's a hell of a lot of campuses, a whole lot of them, 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor for the Lincoln Tech Indy Car Series that you are watching live here tonight on V-Speed with Goat Locker. And folks, it is going to be a good one. Mentioned real quick, we talked about Brian Provo, which is your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. And, excuse me, since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus of... Where's the end of it? It all ran out. I had the whole thing lined up right here. Oh, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. I completely butchered the hell out of that, Daniel. They have been with Goat Locker since the very beginning. Local and veteran certified when they do well. they do good in the community, and they are the title sponsor for the JF Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner here in Goat Locker. Buddy, I just got pumped up just so much right there. I just completely butchered the hell out of that ad. I apologize.
No, you're just ready to go.
Go ahead,
You're ready to
laugh.
see these guys turn it loose. So you know what? We'll just you did a better job than I would have done, because I'd have probably been all over the place with that. I get tongue tied too easy. But here I am up here talking about racing. So
Yeah, sometimes you blow it and sometimes you do pretty good, but it is what it is. Up front, you see Brian Provo starting on the inside, which will be the right side of the track. Everybody kind of flip-flopped here as well. Remember, 40 laps, they got that compound swap that they're going to go with. Real quick, we'll give you a little bit of an idea of what most of these drivers are starting with up here at the front of the field, kind of give you an idea. We'll give you the rundown on that. Brian Provo, he's actually starting on the softer tire. There you see it. He's got the alternate tire on, as well as Tyler Justice. He's running the alternate tire as well. You flip-flop back to Jake Ellingson. He's on the alternate tire. We'll pretty much give it to you at this point. Everybody in the field on the alternate tire, except for Ricky Sish Jr., Devin Smith, he is on the normal tire. Jason Kristen will be back there. He is on the regular tire as well. Brandon Wallace is, as well as Zachary Menace. Everybody else on the alternate tire as they're working their way through turn number 14. Pace car starting to work its way to the entrance of pit road. And folks, now it is time to get it going with the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series race number 3. They work up the long, very long hill and work their way to the start-finish line. Race number 3 is underway. Green flag. We are racing at Road America. Brian Provo, Tyler Justice, front row, literally, and pace formation. A couple of them trying to shoot 3 wide, going into one and one up in the grass, and we already got one spinning in the sand.
oh, we got a big wreck here going into turn 1. It looked like that was Jake Ellingson maybe trying to gain some positions there. We're going to cue up the replay. You can see side by side, it's such a long run down into turn 1 here. It's all going downhill too, literally, with the elevation change, makes the braking really tricky. See, 2x2, it looks like, I believe that was the 243 of Samuel Egg stepped out of line, and just a big crash there to start the race. Brian Provo, our pole sitter, actually got the worst of that. I think I might have given him the broadcaster curse with pre-race, that he didn't even make it one turn before he got obliterated there.
What some serious moving. Regis Clark was actually the one that literally pulled the Dale Earnhardt pass in the grass, shot her out every damn one of them, and took it all the way to the front. Tyler Justice, who was starting up there on the outside of the front row, blew the second quarter, and he shot off in the grass. And now there you see it with Regis Clark leading this bad boy. Then you got Samuel Egg sitting back in the second spot. Jake Ellingson running in third. Check it out. Here comes Egg. Egg took a shot, dove it in there, but had to back away. Regis Clark following away as well. Ellingson laying in the weeds in third. And then you got to go all the way back 3 seconds, all the way back to Kevin Price.
Yeah, that was just a really chaotic first set of turns there, but man, you called it. Regis Clark with a little pass in the grass action. He did everything he needed to do to avoid that, and he took the lead here early. Kind of see that run that Samuel Egg is getting. He's going to take a look down to the inside as they go into turn 1, but Regis able to hold the lead for now.
Yeah, Regis Clark better watch his back door. Here comes Samuel Egg back here trying to get going. Actually, that is Jake Ellingson trying to go down to the inside. Almost a little bit of door banging or tire tapping, if you will. Although, baby, they're still trying to tire tap. Working away down Noah Gregson Boulevard, if you will. Diving into the corner. Ellingson goes top, goes to bottom, pulls it down, and bam, there goes Egg straight into the back of him.
And they definitely look like they made contact there. It doesn't look like Egg has any damage to the front of his car. If he doesn't, I mean, that's just really good fortune on his part there if they did make contact. We talked about it all throughout this series that, you know, these cars are a little fragile. They definitely don't like contact like that, Jake.
Absolutely, and you saw Ellingson and others working their way through turn number 8 just a short couple of laps ago. They're actually working their way through that area, and Ray Ellingson out there on the live chat off of turn 8 to the right is the go-kart track. That's where their granddaughter raced on twice a week for a few years. So, I mean, literally, this ain't just a big old road course for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series or NASCAR, however you want to look at it. They got all kinds of racing all the way around this great facility.
Yeah, this place is always a big old party when NASCAR was there. I think when the Cup Series was there, they ran on 4th of July weekend. So it was always, I mean, I never got the chance to get up there or go to one, but everybody I know says it was just, just a good old time going up there and watching any races at that place.
Pretty much Party City all the way up there, up north in Wisconsin. Slip it back a little bit. Got a little bit of battling going on. Jake Ham trying to work his way up through here. He's sitting in the 6th spot with flip-flop back. Brandon Evans back here trying to make something happen as well. So all these guys trying to work their way back up through the field after that turn 1 calamity, or as Sophie out there in the live chat would say, a turn 1 classic. And Eddie Smith, 40 laps with eyes and question mark, kind of like, I guess he's like, damn, 40 laps? Yes, 40 laps here with these Indy cars. Honestly, it will be a pretty long race, I guess you could say, Daniel. Kind of an endurance race, if you will.
But do you think he was surprised at the number of laps or at the moves we saw on lap 1 with it being a 40-lap race? Might have been a little bit of both there, but yeah, it's a little bit of a longer one, but it seems like that's been the theme we've kind of had in this series so far, as we see Brandon Evans trying to make a move for position there. But, they've set these up to be a little bit longer, and I like it. I mean, Goat Locker does a lot of shorter races where it's, right around an hour, but it's kind of nice to get out there every now and then and make it a little bit more of a grind, and maybe grind ain't the right word, but just make it a little bit more of a, be patient, bide your time kind of event as we go for a battle for second here.
Yeah, a little bit of a battle for second. Regis Clark has straight up checked out. You see it on the pylon on the side. Ellingson was right about a second at the line last time around. Now it has opened up to almost 3 seconds from Regis Clark to Jake Ellingson. Samuel Egg trying to reel him in any way he can. Kevin Price way back there, about 5 seconds, 6 seconds rather, behind Regis Clark. You see those guys back there duking it out. Zachary Menace, Jake Ham, they're starting to get a little bit too close for comfort as well, but we're going to stay with this battle for second. And Samuel Egg just laying right in behind Jake Ellingson, just trying to get him to just slip up a little bit, get one of those tires off in the grass, and, literally make you lose traction and just spin it all the way around.
Yeah, and it's easy to do here. You can kind of see as they go around this track, it is pretty narrow. And a lot of places, you got a little runoff area there, but you can kind of see it goes right into a gravel trap as we've got Brandon Evans, looks like, trying to make another move for position here to crack his way into the top 10. Takes a look inside of Brock Price.
Yeah, Brock Price right there on that spot, trying to get there, but not able to do it. I do believe they got around one. That was Jason Kristen back there. Kristen got knocked sideways. Well, he didn't really get knocked sideways. He just overdrove it and hit the grass. Brandon Evans trying to reel in Brock Price and get around him any way, shape, fashion, or form. They worked their way through this, what I like to call the carousel. This is much like the carousel that you would see at Watkins Glen, all the way up in New York, which is actually pretty close to this right here. Oh, damn. Whoa. Very close for Brock Price right there. That got absolutely crazy with him and Tyler White. Very close in these instances. These guys just racing just inches apart from one another. This track just isn't all that wide.
No, and that's a hard spot to try to complete that pass because you got that little kink in the straightaway, and it's almost impossible to run side by side and keep your foot in it there the way you need to. See, Brock Price is going to take a look to the inside, see if he might use a little push to pass here. Believe it looks like he is using some push to pass because he is just pulling away down the straightaway from the 63. He's going to be able to get him cleared before we even get into turn 1. Good move by the 43 there.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, they got a little bit of traffic right in behind them as well. Jason Christian trying to jump up here, latch onto this battle as well. Tyler White, Brandon Evans, all others. Brock Price, check it out from them. Tyler White's going to get passed by Brandon Evans. All this going on at the bottom part of the top 10. And also Jason Christian trying to figure out a way as well. Watch them funnel right into this corner, work their way. Brock Price sliding around a little bit, trying to keep it straight as well, as Tyler White is back there as well. Working away around lap traffic, getting off in the grass. A lot of dirt out there on that racetrack. I mean, Lucas Lyons put some dirt out there as well. Maybe, do you think maybe they swept off the track, Daniel, and try to get it cleaned up? Do you think that's all from these guys, or do you think Lucas might have played a part in all this?
From what I'm seeing, these guys are using all the racetrack and then a little bit more beyond that. I mean, just you could see it in that battle right there between Brandon Evans, Brock Price, and Tyler White. They were locking up. They were going off in the grass. These guys are just giving it all they got. You see the 43 got off a little bit there again. These guys are going to be side by side again as they go down this straightaway. Jason Christian looked like he's trying to make a move on Brock Price too. They're all going after it right now as we see someone in the dirt. He's able to get it under control. Man, that got tight quick there, Jake.
Damn, that was Tyler White in the 63, shot off the racetrack. And Kristen and others had to check up, get out of the way, and cut a break on Tyler White right there. So that got interesting. We slip-flop up here at the front. Little battles going on up here. I mean, all these guys, I mean, just really sending it. There's Zachary Menace in the 364 in P5. Jake Ham got around him. And remember, folks, if you joined us last night for the Cruising Classics Retro 87 series, Jake Ham in the grass for some reason or another kind of might have tried to reach for his cold beer that time and kind of got over in the grass just a little bit. But anyway, Jake had that battle going on with Brandon Evans. A couple of times went to the back, got back up to the front. Went to the back, got back up front. Eventually, when it was all said and done, after 100 laps, he come out on top. So Jake Ham trying to go 2 for 2 this week here with Goat Locker and get the win here tonight at Road America. Started 10th, Daniel. He's up to 4th. I don't know if he's got enough time to run down Regis Clark and others, though.
Yeah, he's done a really good job of getting up through the field, turning lap times that are pretty similar to the leaders also, within a few tenths. And turning laps that are that's faster than our third place car currently of Samuel Eggs. So anything that he gets in, he's going to give it all he's got. Zachary Menace pulling back up to his back bumper here, or back wing, I guess I should say, in these cars. But yeah, he's going to give it everything he's got, and he's not afraid to throw it in there and try to make a move happen.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last night in instances where I wouldn't have went 3 wide. He did, but it still worked out for him, and he still got the win. But Zachary Menace, check this out. It's a little draft, that little push to pass like you were talking about. He'll get to the left side or outside coming into turn 1. Shoots around Jake Ham, so Ham will go back to 5th. Menace will go to 4th. Menace not giving up, really flexing a little muscle around Jake Ham right here for a battle for 4th.
Well, and this kind of gets into something that we touched on a little bit in pre-race with the tire compounds. Zachary Menace was actually starting the race on that primary tire compound, whereas pretty much everybody else in the top 10 was starting on that softer tire. And with being 7 laps in, this is about the point that I would expect the soft tire to kind of equalize a little bit. Maybe the primary is going to be a little bit faster. So this is the part of the run where I would expect things to come back to that 364 car.
Yeah, it very much could. And there you see Zachary Menace tried to pull away and try to run down Samuel Egg. The battle really for the lead is starting to get just a tick closer, not by much, but starting to shrink just a little bit. At about 1.3 seconds, it was up to about 2 seconds. It was damn near close to 3 seconds at one point with Jake Ellenson in the second spot and Regis Clark up there leading. But Ellingson ran a 149.5 that last lap. Clark ran a 149.8, so he got him by 0.3. And, I mean, even if it's just a tenth, but it's consistently a tenth, Ellingson can run down Clark. We'll see what the lap times look like when they hit the line this time.
Yeah, and it looks like Jake's been running about like you said, about 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster. But take a look as they cross the line here, and big difference actually that last lap. Regis Clark with a 149.76 to a 149.28 for Jake Ellingson. So he actually took about a half a second out there. But you look a little bit farther down in P4, Zachary Menace, the 148.57. That's the driver I'm looking at right now as far as what kind of inroads he can make. He's starting to turn the heat up, get a little bit faster lap times here.
Yeah, I mean, he ran a 148.5 that last time. Jake Ham right in behind him, 149.2. So everybody literally is faster than Regis Clark right here. But the only thing that is a little bit different, I guess you could say, is Jake Ellingson is the closest to him. I mean, he's less than a second and a half from him. These other guys, they got to play catch up from previous events, and Samuel Egg stuck right in the middle of it, running a 150.4. So, I mean, everybody else is literally faster now around Samuel Egg, who's sitting at third. Whoa, baby! Look like, was that Jake Ham that shot off the racetrack? One of them actually shot off the racetrack. Maybe no, that was Zachary Menace in a 364. That is not what he needed to do. Daniel, you are 2 for 2 here tonight
I'm telling you.
Commentator Curse.
I'm telling you, these guys are going to end up messaging me after this race, telling me shut up, quit talking about them, man. Like you said, I'm 2 for 2 here so far. So, for any of our viewers that are out there watching, if you've got a driver that you want me to ignore, so I don't put the curse on them, or hell, even if you got one that you want me to talk about to put the curse on them, just go ahead and drop it in the chat, and we'll see what we can do here tonight.
If you got beef with any of the drivers, line it up in the live chat. Daniel will call them out and say that they're doing a fantastic job and they're kicking all kinds of tail. And odds are they'll probably blow it. Jake Ham sitting in fourth, Zachary Menace in fifth. You see them racing right there. Something happened on the Jake Ellingson 27 as he was starting to close in on Regis Clark, but now he has slipped back to over 2 seconds over Regis Clark. He ran a 150.5. Clark ran a 149.4. So Ellingson might have slipped up somewhere somehow, and Clark was able to extend that lead just a little bit.
Yeah, and it gets a lot tougher when you start seeing that car in front of you getting a lot bigger and a lot bigger. And we saw it. He had the lead down under a second at one point. Just wonder if maybe pushed a little too hard. Maybe if he even didn't get off track, might have just burned his tires up a little bit. It's easy to do with these alternates that they've got on right now.
Well, I tell you what, we're seeing out there in the live chat. We've already got a couple of live chats out there as well. As soon as I didn't see it at the time, but Ray Ellingson, don't talk about Jacob, so we won't talk about Jake Ellingson. But then obviously Eddie Smith, obviously he's got to chime in. They immediately start talking about Jake. We didn't see that at the time. That was a late call on that, so we do apologize. We'll leave Jake alone. We'll flip-flop back here and see about this little battling with Jake Ham and Zachary Menace. They're actually closing that gap up a little bit more than what it was. And Ham now sitting there trying to Menace actually trying to reel back in Jake Ham.
And we've also got a really good battle for P8 here between Jamie Libke and Jason Kristen. And you know what? I'm just going to quit talking about people. I said Jamie's name first, and she goes off track the very next turn. So, you know what? I think I just need to quit talking about people. Why don't you handle it for a second here, Jay?
I can't believe that. You could not have typed that out any better. I'm sorry I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel bad now. I really do. I feel bad for Jason.
It's even getting worse now. I mean, hell, they can't even make it one turn before I start talking about them and something happens. So anyway, we're going right along with the driver that I'm not going to use his name because I don't want to jinx anybody else tonight. Looking on board as he is currently running in fourth, chasing in on the back of the 243 car, Zachary Menace, who is currently running in P3. Get a little bit of onboard action, kind of see what they're fighting, what the view looks like for their point of view. You can also see our telemetry over on the left-hand side, what gear they're running, the speeds, the interval. Neat little feature that we've got here to see exactly what these drivers are doing here tonight.
Yeah, you see it right there. Obviously, riding on board with the 85 of Jake Ham. Jake is actually going to be up a spot from where he was previously. You see him sitting in fourth. Zachary Menace is now in the third spot. And Jake Ellenson in second, Regis Clark in first. The reason I bring that up is Samuel Egg is not in third anymore. Samuel Egg flipped up in turn 14. If we could get an instant replay on what happened to Samuel Egg, but he went for a ride. Now he's coming back out on the racetrack, but he had a very scary looking little spin coming off of turn 14. See what happened to Samuel Egg just a couple of laps ago. There it is, hits the grass, backs it straight into the fence, knocked the rear wing and the front wing off. I don't know if I would have towed in that instance, Daniel. I mean, if I could have just got the car straightened out, I would have just said to hell with it and just pulled it into pits just because you were so close to it.
Yeah, and you know, the hard thing is with how he hit two different tires of the car on that tire barrier, so there's a good chance that it broke something in the back end where it just wouldn't turn or wouldn't move, and didn't really have a whole lot of choices but to tow right there, unfortunately.
But you hate to see that for Samuel Egg. I mean, we wasn't even talking about him, and he still ended up spinning out. But, I mean, he was up there running to the third spot. It's unfortunate to see for Mr. Egg. And his shot at going for a podium here tonight will not happen unless all kinds of chaos ends up happening. Regis Clark still leads just a little over 3 seconds. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I know it's under green, but we still got to pay some bills one way or another. We'll be right back here at Road America after this short break. And folks, we are back here at Road America for the Lincoln Tech IndyCar Series. I'm the Redneck announcer, Jake Reeves, Daniel Cunningham, and Lucas Lyons. All of us here with you on a beautiful, what night is this? Wednesday night. Yeah, I get my nights mixed up here lately, Daniel. I've had my days and nights mixed up anyway, but so happy that each and every one of you have joined us here tonight on V-Speed with Goat Locker. Pretty cool little race we got going on. A little bit of action out here. Daniel, I know you would love to talk about one of these drivers. I know you would love to talk about one of them. Just pick one at this point and just start talking about him.
All right, eventually, I got to get this right. So I'm going to give a shout out to that 82 car, Jason Kristen. I tagged him in Discord earlier because I drink Ghost Energy all the time. I saw that paint scheme. I'm like, man, that is a good looking... you know what?
Oh
I got a little too amped up on the Ghost Energy there, but you know what? He still got it between the ditches, and he's still got all four wheels and the wing and the front and rear wing. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and chalk that up as a win that I didn't put the full broadcaster curse on there.
You can't make this up. Like nobody, you cannot make this up. Nobody in the live chat can even, I mean, everybody, hell, I'm speechless. I don't know how you're doing this. I have no idea how you're doing this. I mean, Daniel, I'm sorry. Look, I've had the commentator curse some people before. I've talked about them a little bit. I ain't done it 4 times in one race, and hell, we ain't even halfway.
Yeah, I've already knocked out a quarter of the field, and we're a quarter of the way through the race. So, you know, by that logic, I ought to be able to get everybody before the end of the night and make it even. I think that might just be what the goal is here at this point.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to try to close the gap up a little bit, let's talk about Regis Clark real quick, Daniel. I mean, Regis Clark leading, he's won. I mean, he won at Daytona, obviously, to open the season, and really putting on a pretty stellar, you know, I mean, honestly, I mean, he put on a stellar deal. You know, he shot through the grass right off the bat, and now he's up here leading this thing. Daniel, work your magic, baby. Let's get this race just a little bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he really has had a really solid race. It's kind of reminded me of Daytona. He's just doing everything he needs to do. He's been immune to the broadcaster curse so far. He's not gone off track, just keeping it nice and tidy everywhere. And you can kind of see it, like through that last turn that he just went through. We've been seeing guys running all the way out to the gravel with that left rear tire almost in it. He's just nice and smooth through everywhere and just putting together some really solid lap times. And you know what? It ain't a curse, but he's going to pit right when I'm in the middle of talking about him. So does that count? Or are we counting that one?
That don't count. No,
Okay.
because we are in that range, like we were talking about, Daniel. We are in that range for pit stops, and it'll be interesting to see what Regis Clark does. Because if you remember, folks, Regis Clark was on that alternate tire at the start. Will he choose to go to the primary tire or go back to the alternate tire? But Jake Ellenson leads at the moment. We'll see what happens right here with Regis Clark.
Yeah, and as we go through green flag pit stops, you see our pit stop timer over there on the left showing how long these guys are spending on pit road. And yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, they're going to have more than one pit stop tonight with the way that the fuel loads are. They've got those two different tire compounds. So we'll see if Regis wants to go ahead and get that primary tire on to take care of the tire swap rule, or if he's going to stick with the alternate for now.
I believe from what I'm saying, I think he did hit that primary. So Regis Clark will be on the primary. Real quick, a lot of people still wanting to see that telemetry a little bit more, Lucas Lines. So maybe just work your magic, pick a driver, and let's check out that telemetry on some of these guys and see kind of what we're looking at. Is there you see with Jake Ellenson in the 27 working his way through the later portions of Road America here. Check it out, 6th gear, almost hit 170 going into the final few turns. You know, we talked about, you know, the front stretch, Daniel, you know, how tough that front stretch is and how the Noah Gregson Boulevard is. But that other area that's way back there on the back at the back half of the track, that place is very, very fast and very narrow as well.
Yeah, as we're seeing Brandon Evans go through that same portion of the track here. And you're right, especially with that little kink that they've got in the middle of that straightaway. You can run it flat out. I believe you can actually run it flat out through the entirety of the fuel run, even with a little bit of tire wear. And it's definitely, as we saw a couple people earlier, it's not easy to go side by side there. It's damn near impossible to go side by side through there. And, you know, you're seeing what these guys are fighting with on board with Regis Clark here. This also gives us a good shot of this elevation change. You can see exactly how uphill that first section is. This is where the calamity started on lap 1. Go downhill a little bit here into turn 1, and that definitely throws off your braking points a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. If we can, this is ride right here with Regis Clark, who has reassumed the lead over Jake Ellenson. He's on the primary tire as of right now. And then, like I said, you know, he was on the front stretch, took those two right-handers, and then from now until whenever, until somebody else completely blows it here on this road right here, on this portion of the track, this is going to be Noah Gregson Boulevard, at least for me. Then he goes into the left-hander, sliding around, works his way up, goes over at that Corvette area. That was the one that you was talking about earlier, Daniel, that's kind of hard to go up that hill, and then you got that sand trap that jumps out, all kinds of sand all over there as well. And then right over there, just for a quick second, if you can look, the go-kart track right there on the right. And then they hit that carousel right here through the Speedville. But this spot that they're going through with that kink in it, that is a tough place to go through there, especially at the speeds, because I ran an official race here at Road America in the Xfinity cars one time, and let's just say right here in this area, I ended up wrecking somebody. He said a lot of bad words to me. He was not happy.
Did you say any back to him?
Well, I wanted to, but I wanted to, but to be honest with you, I mean, I done wrong. I wrecked him, but it wasn't on purpose, obviously. Well, actually, it might have been. I think he was kind of a pain in the, you know what. I think I remember who it was. I'm not going to call him out here on VSP, but I think I remember exactly who he was, and I think he needed to get dumped anyway, but I wasn't planning on wrecking him anyway. But no, to answer your question, Daniel, no, I did not call him any bad words back, but I think he learned his lesson.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just got to let the bumper do the talking. But, yeah, you know, it really is a tight section there as we see, I believe that's Brock Price and Jamie Lipke battling for position here. And you can see just how tight that section is. Jamie got a little tire off in the grass there, but was able to make that move, make it stick. They're putting on a good battle here, but yeah, there's not a lot of runoff area in these parts of the track. It's just really easy to get that tire offline and get yourself in trouble there.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that as well. Oh, by the way, if any of you was wondering what the lesson that other guy learned, it was when you see me coming into a corner and it's on a road course, get the hell out of the way, because odds are I'm probably going to blow the corner and I'm probably going to take you out. That's the lesson. Daniel, that's for you. Lucas, that's for you as well. That's for everybody out there in the live chat. If you see me racing on a road course, just get out of the way. I'll probably wreck eventually because I suck at road courses. Daniel, I mean, how is your record on road courses in general as we're coming up on the halfway point of this race?
You know, there's maybe one or two road courses that I feel decent with. Watkins Glen, because, you know, everybody that has a NASCAR league runs Watkins Glen. And then, you know, the Charlotte Roval, Daytona road course. You know, I don't feel bad at those, but man, we've got a league race coming up here in another series I'm racing in a few weeks, and I'm watching these guys get around here, and I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe I just need to make that one of my drop weeks, because I can already imagine what tire barrier I'm going to end up in going around here.
Yeah, I got my idea pretty much made up. I've hit a couple of tire barriers as well. Well, folks, if you love the entertainment, if you love Goat Locker, if you love the racing, if you just love sim racing in general, make sure you like and subscribe to V-Speed and catch up with everything going on with Goat Locker, with everything V-Speed's got going on. So make sure you hit the little like button, ring that bell, and keep up with everything going on here on V-Speed. And especially with Goat Locker over the summer. Check them out, working their way all the way around the track. Regis Clark currently in the lead. Zachary Menace has now overtook Jake Ellingson and Jake Ham, the two Jakes. Now Zachary Menace now sitting in the second position and starting to close in a little bit. He's under 2 seconds. Jake Ham's doing pretty good, though. I mean, Jake Ham's doing pretty good. See, now it's coming back on me now, Daniel. See, now you've transferred it to me. As soon as I say something about Zachary, he runs it off in a damn sand.
Well, at least I'm not the only one, but you can see our lap times over there. Zachary Menace was about almost 2 full seconds faster than Regis Clark on that last lap. And, you know, this is the first time as we see Jake Ham taking a little look there, not able to... Did he just run off track when I said his name? He damn sure did. So, yeah, we'll chalk another one up to the broadcaster curse here. Yeah, this is actually the first time tonight
Whoa! There was a spinner right there in front of them. Golly, we wasn't even talking about them, and they went around.
I believe that was our pole sitter, Brian Provo, in the 08 that actually went around there, and he's still out there giving it his all, even after that first lap mayhem. Take a look here on the instant replay. See, he's got Jake Ellingson behind him. Just trying to make some clean laps here. See what happens to him. Oh, looks like he might have gotten into a little bit of that dirt and gravel being pulled off the track from where Jake Ham went off, and the back end just snaps around on him. It's something we talked about throughout the night with the way the gravel gets pulled out onto this track, and it does affect your tires. You could see it from his onboard there. All kinds of stuff all over the track, and it just cost him in that next little straightaway there.
You wouldn't think that dirt would be that much of a deal. I mean, in real life, racing, you would think, oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, there's a lot of dirt right there. It will really throw you off. But you wouldn't think on a sim it would be that dead on. And I guess that's one of the things, obviously, with Goat Locker, they always think iRacing, we will as well, because they always, I mean, you know, as we are getting pretty close to a battle for the lead here, but, you know, we always, and Daniel, I know you do as well, we always sit here and crap about all the updates and, you know, updating this and updating that. It always takes forever to update stuff on, you know, on our sims and sim rigs and everything else. But we need to really give iRacing a lot of credit, because what they do for the sim, I mean, they literally make it as realistic as possible. You know, especially for us poor folk. You know, we'll never get a chance to actually drive in a real race car. And folks, I seriously and strongly consider, if you have not got you a subscription to iRacing and you're watching this thinking about getting into it for the first time, hands down, get you a subscription, and you will not be sorry about any of it.
No, I can safely say I don't regret any of the money that I've spent on this thing, and it's been a lot that I've spent on it. But you know what? We've got a good battle shaping up for the lead here, like you mentioned, between Regis Clark and Zachary Menace. And what I was kind of touching on earlier before we had the off track and everything is this is the first time in the race that Zachary Menace has been on even tires with any of our leaders, because he did start on the primary compound. He is actually still on the primary compound, so he's going to save that alternate for a little bit later, try to end the race on it. And I just got to wonder if the fact that he started on that tire and is still on it is making it a little bit easier for him right now compared to Regis that started on the alternate. Now he's trying to adjust what he was doing before for the different tire compound.
Yeah, very good possibility that maybe that's what Zachary's doing. And folks, you know, we were talking about that dirt. We were talking about all that dirt. If we can, real quick, let's ride on board with one of them, either one, and just watch them when they go through this portion of the racetrack. Look, the dirt is still there. It doesn't just wipe off the racetrack. I mean, the only way it's going to get off of the racetrack is if somehow or another, well, we got what's got off in the dirt right there in front of them, ironically enough, but that's the only way that dirt is going to go anywhere. It's not just going to wipe clean for these guys every single lap. The only way that dirt will go anywhere is if it gets picked up on their tires. And check it out, Menace took a shot, tried to go down to the inside. He is there. Regis Clark is under fire for the first time here tonight. And Zachary Menace, who started 6th, he's breathing down his tailpipe.
Yeah, Zachary is there, and he is putting pressure on Regis. He's not letting him get away. So we ride on board here with that 364 car. And something I noticed down that long front straightaway, both drivers actually on the push to pass down that straightaway to try, both for Zachary, he was trying to use it to get around Regis. Regis using it to defend too, something that a lot of these drivers will do. Take a look at who's got what left for push to pass. And they're both pretty even on that right now, just about dead on with how much they've got remaining.
Zachary Menace trying to get up here in behind Regis Clark, try to make something happen. Clark goes a little bit wide. Menace kept it down on the bottom side, riding on board with the 364 of Zachary Menace, and gets right here in that little kinky area where they will get up to some seriously fast speeds at well over 180 miles an hour, and then all the way down to 75 miles an hour, slamming on the brakes, going through the dirt. Zachary Menace able to save it. Daniel, I mean, we're right here at the halfway point, but that save by Zachary Menace, that could quite possibly be a race-winning save.
It very well could, and if we end up talking to him at the end of the night in a podium position or the race win, we're going to have to remember that save on lap 20, because with where that was at, If he got into those tire barriers, that's pretty much a race ender at that point.
Yep, he almost went a round big time. And he is currently sitting in the second spot. Jake Ellingson way back there, about 6.5 seconds, give or take, making about 7.5 seconds now. Way back there is Jake Ellingson, then about a second ahead of him is Jake Ham. But we're going to stay with this battle for the race lead, or we'll slide back there. There's Jake Ham. Eddie and everybody's going to keep on seeing that telemetry. Let's get an idea of what Jake Ham's telemetry is right now as he works his way around Road America.
He just went underneath of that Corvette bridge that we were talking about earlier as we ride along here with Jake Ham. Fourth gear, 125 still in that turn. There's that go-kart track we've talked about a few times tonight, using every inch of the racetrack on the inside of that curb there as he comes up to the carousel. And you can just see as we're riding along all the different spots on this track where that gravel is pulled out from people getting off track. And, like we've seen it a few times tonight, you just got to be really careful of that. 165 through that kink. It's going to come down here into this next set of turns. Jake, I forget what turn number this is. Is this turn number 12, 11?
I'm going with 12. 12 and a quarter, I guess. That's what we're going to go with. There is 13, and then you flip it around, and here would be 14. Well, I'll tell you what, Daniel, we are at the halfway point, something we didn't really touch base on here tonight, but it's the weather of what we got going on here at Road America. You see the sun shining, all that good stuff, 78 degrees. Very, very pretty, beautiful day. The track tip, that's a different story. 129 degrees with all that dirt out there on the track. You got 129 degrees. It's safe to say that these guys, ain't running around like grandma on a Sunday drive. These guys are really having to get after it.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be struggling for grip as they go through this race. And, it kind of makes me wonder with the different tire strategies, what tire do you want to be on at the end? We obviously saw that primary tire is not as fast, but we also saw how that alternate fell off there at the end of that first run. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play this out and who's able to conserve and make the most of what they got.
There you see Jake Ham obviously trying to hold on to the third spot. Hasn't really gained any ground on Regis Clark. Zachary Menace was right up his tailpipes not too long ago, but now he has slipped back to a little over a second behind Regis Clark. You see Jake Ham now working his way, trying to make his way through here one way or another, and now working his way through that kink and going into the final stages to complete one more lap here at Road America. Well, folks, like I said, honestly, it's staying green, but we'll keep you updated, let you know if anything crazy happens while we take this quick commercial break. Thanks to some of our great sponsors here with Goat Locker. We'll be right back at Road America.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Folks, we're back here at V-Speed, here at Road America, here live on V-Speed, I should say. Redneck Announcer Jake Reeves here with Daniel Cunningham, the Mr. Broadcaster's curse, if you will. Lucas Lyons on production, just laughing and loving every bit of it. Literally, I mean, loving every minute of it. Shades of Loverboy. If you never heard that song, go check it out anywhere that you can get it. But battle for the lead is still on, Daniel. Regis Clark, Zachary Menace, little bit second gap, give or take. You see what they ran that last lap. Menace is not letting Clark get away, though.
Yeah, they've really been trading lap times back and forth. It seems like Zachary will close in on him a little bit, run a tenth or two faster, maybe gets a little bit of dirty air, and then Regis will run a couple tenths faster. But you're 100% right. Zachary's keeping him in his sights where if Regis makes any kind of mistake, Zachary's going to be there to pounce on it. And really, that's just the biggest thing right now with road courses. And really these Indy cars in general is it's so easy to overdrive them. They're hard to correct. If you could just put enough pressure on that guy in front of you to make one little misstep, you can take advantage of it pretty easy.
Well, folks, if you think about all the high speeds that you are seeing here tonight at Road America, it'll be a good one next week when we go to the Milwaukee Mile. Certainly won't see no 180 miles an hour like you are here on the straightaways here at Road America, or over 200 miles an hour, well over 200 miles an hour that we saw last week in Indianapolis. But Milwaukee Mile will be an absolute blast. We'll talk a little bit more about that here later on here in the race. There you see it right there, Jake Ham. See it right there on that little thing right there a while ago. Jake Ham, he's about 6.5 seconds back. Jake Ham might have went over there and tapped the wall to where it would not pass tech one way or another, Daniel. Jake Ham's starting to close in on these guys.
Yeah, the last time I talked about him, I think he ended up in a gravel trap, so I might not want to say a whole lot about him. But yeah, you're 100% right. It looks like he's been running faster lap times than both of our leaders in closing in. And while we were talking about that, I believe looking at our timing and scoring, something may have happened to our fourth place runner, Jake Ellingson there. Not 100% sure what happened to him.
Yeah, something amiss on Ellingson. You see him right there. Looked like he was going to try to make a pit stop, but thought different of it and jumped back out on the racetrack. We'll see what happened to the 27 of Jake Ellingson. We didn't say a whole word about him, but he just drove it a little bit too wide, got it off of the racetrack, spun it around, tried to get it straightened back out. But, I mean, that's one of the bad parts about this. Might have hit that rumble strip, takes it a little bit wide. They have one trying to shoot down to the inside and just a little bit of an overstep. Went out a little bit too wide, and he just tries to straighten it back out.
Yeah, just a little bit too wide there, like you said. And I would just like to point out, because Ray Ellingson politely asked me earlier to not talk about Jake, to put the curse on him. I would just like to point out that I did not say his name. So that one was not broadcaster curse on Jake Ellingson, but still running in fourth, even with that little misstep there. So able to keep himself in a pretty good position here, even if he did lose some ground on the track.
Yeah, I've lost count tonight. I mean, you're either 4 for 5 or 5 for 6, one way or another. Still got pretty good odds, though, Daniel. Not to try to throw you under the bus too much, but you got pretty good odds on all that. But now this has really turned into a 3-horse race, if you will. Jake Ham is really starting to close that gap. He's got it down to under 3 seconds, barely, but these guys was able to get a better run coming up the hill. But that last lap, Ham was about 4.5 seconds back from these guys. Now he's got a whole second and a half, running 147.5s to Clark's 148.8, and Zachary Menace, who ran a 148.2. So Ham about a second, literally about a second faster than what your leaders is running right now.
Yeah, Jake Ham, the only driver on track in that 1 minute 47 second range right now. By far the fastest driver, and he is closing in on these guys. Just gotta wonder, did Zachary Menace and Regis Clark push each other a little too hard there earlier, and Jake Ham could just kind of ride and take care of his stuff, and be there and try to close this gap on him?
It's literally a 3-horse race at this point. Jake Ellingson back in 4th. Jason Kristen, we saw him a while ago. He started 15th. He's all the way up into the 5th spot. Devin Smith, Brandon Evans, Tyler Justice, Kevin Price, Brock Price. Not sure if they're related or not, but that is your top 10. Top 10's on the lead lap. 11th all the way down. They're one lap down or more. Is Ham trying to close in about 3 seconds. He'll gain a little bit, then he'll lose a little bit. He'll gain a little bit, and then he'll lose a little bit. Really, I mean, I think that's what you really want to do here on these road courses, Daniel, is you want to try to just stay consistent. And if you're not catching them, but you're not losing them, I think that'll actually make you very, very happy.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I was just taking a look at too is the push to pass that drivers have been using. So we see some pit stops actually starting here. Our leader Regis Clark peeling off. But yeah, looking at the push to pass numbers, it looks like Jake Ham is actually down to 22 seconds left compared to the leaders still having over 100 apiece between first and second place. So that might be a little inclination on how he has closed this gap here and brought that down to where he's at.
And I mean, Daniel, you know, for the folks at home that are rednecks, much like myself and you, what is this push to pass? What is this? Because, you know, I mean, we watch a lot of stock car racing. We don't know a damn thing about a push to pass. Can you kind of explain to everybody what exactly they're doing and what exactly it means to have that?
Yeah, so basically what the push to pass is it's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a button that you can actually hit in the car to give yourself more horsepower, and it'll shut off once you lift out of the throttle or once you hit the brakes. But it's something that the Indy cars have for road courses, and they're limited to 200 seconds of it during the race. So you can't just go out there and hit it every lap, every straightaway, or nothing like that. Got to be strategic about how you use it. So just another one of those tech tools that these drivers have that are, I guess you want to call it caveman cars, the stock cars that we normally race, don't have on them. That's my West Virginia redneck explanation of it. So that's about the best I got for you.
I bet you I bet you I know one stock car driver that had a push to pass a long time ago. Jimmy Johnson. Bet on it. Zachary made it. Yeah, hey, I mean, nothing against him. I mean, 7-time champion, but hey, you know Chad Knaus, man, he tried to cheat every chance he could. Zachary Menace up here still with the lead, has yet to make that pit stop. Jake Ham, Regis Clark, they are trying to reel back in any way that they can. That gap is closed in about 2 seconds, but like you said, Daniel, that push to pass is really going to hurt Jake Ham. And Clark will probably be able to use that to try to get away from Jake Ham later on in this race. Menace has yet, actually Zachary Menace is now down pit road as of right now. He's on 4 freshies. Jake Ellenson has elected to stay out on the racetrack, but Zachary Menace has already went down pit road. Clark Ham, they shoot by him.
Yeah, and I don't know if something might have actually happened to Zachary Menace on that lap before he came into pit, because it looked like he lost a bunch of time somewhere along the line there. And you kind of see it on our timing and scoring here, too, as the pit cycle rolls around. You know, Jake Ellingson is scored as the leader right now. Regis Clark is essentially the leader of your race, and he's got about a 5-6 second lead now over Zachary Menace, and Jake Ham was actually able to leapfrog Menace as well. So not sure what may have happened there, but definitely a little bit of a mix-up in the running order here.
Thank you very much out there in the live chat, Warren Clayton. Thank you to every single one of you for tuning in. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for all the very, very kind words that, you know, y'all are putting out there. By the way, Skyman, you ain't got to put an apostrophe between the E and the L. You can just go ahead and just throw it on there, baby. You ain't got to worry about it. I don't think anybody will get busted on that. But Zachary Menace sitting in the 4th spot. Remember, Ellingson, he's on the primary. There's your tire difference. Now Menace has elected to put on the alternate. But he is going to have his work cut out for him, like you were talking about just a little bit ago. Zachary Menace, he has got his work cut out for him. He's actually trying to run down Jake Ham, and you saw Ham shoot by right there. There is Zachary Menace trying to reel him in as well. Tyler Justice not too far back from this. Remember Tyler Justice, folks. Tyler Justice, who started on the outside of the front row. Second turn, lap 1, overdrove the corner, went off into the grass. Now he's up here in prime position to get him a top 5 just by, hell, I don't know, just taking it easy and just saving and just trying not to wreck or anything. We got one way back there in the back that spun around coming out of turn 1 and hit the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, that looked like Brian Provo, our pole sitter tonight, and this has just not been the night that he was looking for by any stretch there. See, he got off track back behind the 364 when we were following him. It's like he had just come out of the pit lane, so, you know, he's on cold tires and just didn't turn for him. He just got off track, and once you do, it's just gone at that point. So, tough night for the 08. He was the one that kicked off the broadcaster's curses tonight, so you know, hate that for him.
Absolutely. He was Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner. And folks, if you're loving this right here, if you're loving everything with Goat Locker, it'll be a good one next Tuesday night when we go to Talladega for the 1987 cars, the 87 cars for the Cruising Classics Retro 87 series. And speaking of Cruising Classics, they are located in Columbus, Ohio, way up north, right in this area where we're at, up here in Wisconsin. Cruising Classics has a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom. Let me say that again, 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds and hundreds of unique automobiles. There is something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down to visit the facility today and check out their website at cruisingclassicsinc.com. And they are the title sponsor for the Cruising Classics Retro 87 series here on V-Speed with Goat Locker on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Jake Ham putting some pressure. Zachary Menace got those alternate tires, baby. He shot around Jake Ham like he was sitting still. He's wanting to have another shot at Regis Clark, and he got those alternate tires at the right time, and he is using them.
Yeah, and that was a good pass there by Zachary Menace to take over that second spot. Jake Ham not going quietly, though. We saw him tucked up right behind Zachary Menace, keeping that pressure on him. I think it might just be a matter of time now for that 364 to pull away with the cleaner air and the tire advantage of the softer tires right now. See if he can get up here and put a little bit of pressure on Regis Clark that's still running those alternate, or the primaries rather, right now.
He may end up actually running him down. We'll keep a tab on that. Actually, we was going to actually slip back here, maybe look at some other battles going on, but I'm telling you, that gap is straight up shrinking. Check it out. Menace. Damn, I don't even think he lifted through the kinks right there. 170 miles an hour, 6 gear. Check out the RPMs and check out that interval. Watch it as it will drop dramatically, working his way through turn 12, going through what was filled with sand that whole turn. Now going through 13, coming around to hit turn 14 to complete another lap. And folks, we are at 10 laps to go. And there is Zachary Menace, just a little bit over 2.5 seconds, give or take, trying to run down Regis Clark and get the win here tonight at Road America as they work their way into turn 1.
Yeah, there was a pretty significant difference in lap times that last lap between Regis Clark and Zachary Menace. We could see the interval coming down. A 149.56 for Regis Clark, 148.27 for Zachary Menace. Over a full second faster than Regis Clark. And Jake, if he can keep that pace up, he is going to be on the back wing of that 8 car before too much longer.
Yeah, but the only thing about that, though, Daniel, we've seen it before, is these alternate tires, they wear out just a little bit faster. They're softer, but they wear out just a little bit faster. And then you think about the dirt, you think about the track temp, which is now actually rose. Now it's up to 129 as of right now. Air temp stayed at 78, but the track temp is all the way up to 129 degrees. That is not what you want to do if you're Zachary Menace. May want to get the camera off of him, Lucas. Get the camera off of him, Lucas. He's going to end up blowing the corners. Yep, we'll flip back here to find somebody else. We'll get to Zachary Minnis when he ends up catching Regis Clark. But I gotta, you gotta factor in, at least in my eyes, Daniel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you gotta factor in the track temp and the softer tires and all that stuff. You gotta factor it all in when you're making those decisions.
Yeah, that's the big question mark right now, is just how long can he keep that pace up with the softer tire and with the, we'll call it surface of the sun temperatures that we've got here. And, you mentioned the dirt and the gravel. We could see it as we were watching Jason Kristen there going through around the track, that there was an awful lot of gravel in that turn. Something else, there's going to be a little bit more gravel. Let's go ahead and add that one to the highlight reel for later.
Yeah, we'll get you on that one.
Yeah, we've got another one. I think that's the second time I've got him tonight, though. So we got another battle for position that we're going to go take a look at here. Devin Smith currently in 7th, and we've got Brandon Evans right around in there, too. Good battle for position between these two guys.
Yeah, Brandon Evans just trying to hold off Devin Smith. Kevin Price not too far back as well. That whole turn 12 has got dirt all over the place. And these guys, check it out. Hell, they're coming through turn 14, just hitting the grass a little bit and kicking grass up all over the place. This track is absolutely dirty. It is absolutely bad. They need to get a street sweeper and go all the way around this 4-mile road course, sweep it off. We may need to, what do you think? What do you think, Daniel? Throw us a caution right here. Let's get a caution and get the street sweeper out there, wipe the track off real good, and let's see some action right here. But I think we're going to see some action eventually when Zachary Minnis eventually does catch Regis Clark.
Well, we've actually got a little bit of action right now between Zachary Minnis and Jake Ham. He has reeled back in Zachary Minnis. He's going to make a move here. They are side by side through the kink as they head down into turn 12. See who gets later on the brakes here. And Jake Ham is going to take that position, but Zachary Minnis crosses him back over as they head through the gravel trap there.
Yeah, literally, that will be gravel 12 if you want to put it that way, or gravel trap. We'll go with that. Zachary Minnis able to shoot by him. Ham overshot the corner, and now Minnis will go to second. Clark still holding on to the lead. He had just went to the top of the hill. He is at the line now, and now Minnis is at the line now. So a little bit over 2.5 seconds. That battling that Minnis and Ham had going on, it actually allowed Regis Clark to extend that lead, but not by much.
No, not a whole lot there. It looked like at one point Zachary Minnis had actually gotten the lead down to just under 2 seconds. And, something else to keep in mind here, Jake Ham in third, he is completely out of push to pass at this point. So even if he does get a little bit of a tow down these straightaways off of that 364 car, Zachary can actually use some of that push to pass to defend and keep Jake Ham from getting the run, but him clip the grass right there a little bit. Good save there out of Jake Ham.
He kept himself off the highlight reel off of yours right there for just a second. There goes Zachary Minnis, Regis Clark. You saw him for just a split second down there on the bottom of your screen. Zachary Minnis, now everybody working their way through the carousel, trying to run down Regis Clark, season opening winner at Daytona. And they are starting to kind of close that gap. He had it up to close to 3 seconds. Now it's got down to 2 seconds. Zachary Minnis may be using a little bit of that push to pass, but he's got to be careful. Don't run out of it, or he's not going to have anything right there at the end to be able to catch Regis Clark.
Yeah, that's one thing that Regis has actually done a really good job of this race, with being out front and just managing that gap, is he still has 132 seconds of push to pass left. That's a pretty substantial amount for this track, to where when they're going down them straightaways, he gets inside of 5 to go. He could really start laying on it if he wanted to. He's got plenty of it in reserve here.
And he absolutely does. Zachary Minnis trying to reel him in. They got it down to under 2 seconds. You see what they ran the last lap. Minnis ran a 1:48.84. Clark ran 1:49.62. And Clark is catching a little bit of lap traffic, not much. Jamie Lemke right up there in front of Regis Clark. But Lemke will give way, I'm sure, and Clark will not be put in a situation to where he may have to jam on the brakes one way or another. but Jake Ham is not giving. Oh, boy, Menace overshot the corner, and Ham got around him. Ham will go to second.
Yeah, and that's going to be good for Regis Clark, too. As you can see, that gap had come down under a second and a half. But with that little slip right there, he's got it back up to just under 2 seconds, hovering right around that mark. And, you know, I got to wonder, too, with Regis Clark, even though Jamie Lipke will yield and let Regis go by, get a little bit of that dirty air, you catch somebody in the wrong spot, and it's going to be easy to lose time with trying to navigate this lap traffic.
And Daniel, the way that they pitted a while ago, we saw it a while ago, looking at give or take, with that 12 to 15 laps that they will have on a full tank of fuel. The way everybody pitted, as you see it right there currently, their last laps pitting, they should be good to go on making it all the way to the end of this race, correct?
They should be good to go. The only thing that it may possibly affect is if you've got somebody, say like Regis Clark, we talked about how much push to pass he has in reserve. Using that push to pass does actually burn more fuel. So he would be going right about 13 laps to the end. He might not be able to lay on that button like we thought to defend if he's going to be close on making it to the end.
Zachary Menace, something has happened majorly on that 364. He has given up a whole lot of time. 152 his last lap, and everybody has pretty much just said bye-bye to Zachary Menace. And now Jake Ham is starting to close that gap on Regis Clark. Literally could be seeing a battle for the lead. Coming around this time when they hit the line again, it'll be 5 to go. It's Clark and Ham here at Road America.
Yeah, Jake Ham is really closed in. He's pulled the gap in quite a bit over these last few laps. Last lap, he was actually a full second faster than Regis Clark. But now that he's there, he's going to start getting that dirty air. And as we say in the NASCAR world, catching him's one thing, but passing him's another. And it's going to be the same way here. He's going to have his work cut out for him getting around that 8 car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly a great point, because Clark is not going to want to give this up. And remember, you talked about it with the push to pass that Ham has got. He's got none left. Regis Clark has got plenty in the tank to be able to use. But up on the back spoiler, Ham looking down to the inside. Clark up top. Ham not able to drive it in there deep enough and try to make it happen, just like you called it, Daniel. You got it right on that one. I mean, catching them's one thing, passing them is another. Ham has got his hands tied. He's going to have to figure something out coming this time with 5 to go.
And we saw it down that last straightaway. Regis was on the push to pass, using it to defend. Jake's still going to have a little bit of draft here down the straightaway. Regis on the push to pass again, trying to keep that 85 car behind him. See what he does down here in turn 1. It's waiting on him to try to take a peek inside, but he just stays in line behind Regis for now.
And if you think back to when we was at Daytona and we talked to Regis Clark, he was happy to get him a win here in Goat Locker. He said, these Indy cars, he hasn't got a whole lot of experience. I think he said, he'd been racing around on them a little bit for about 6 months. And now here he is up here leading races as he dives down on the inside. Ham tried to go around the outside, going through the corner. Clark not giving it up, making it very, very difficult for Jake Ham. And we talked about Zachary Menace. Menace back there in the 3rd spot, 4.5, maybe 5 seconds back from these guys battling. Zachary Menace is not out of this thing, not by a long shot. Jake Ham, we know he is very, very aggressive to try to make passes. These guys just ran through some more dirt, more gravel out there on the racetrack. Menace could be in prime position. If both of these guys get collected, Menace could drive right by him and be able to win this thing.
You're absolutely right, and I think I might have saw a little puff of smoke out of that tire off that 85 there just a moment ago. He is definitely giving it everything he's got to try to get around them. It's going to be easy to lock up. He's going to look to the inside as they go through here. Good side-by-side battle. Looks like Regis is just going to be able to hang on to the lead as they head through 13 and 14 and get back to that front straightaway. Coming to 4 to go. Doesn't get much closer than this at the end of one of these road course races.
Well, I'll tell you this much, fans. If you wanted some action, you're getting action here tonight at Road America. Clark goes down to the bottom trying to break the draft off Jake Ham. 4 to go here at Road America. Who's going to win it? Light up the chat. Let us know who is going to win this bad boy. Ham all over the back spoiler. Takes a peek to the outside. Tries to make Clark jump up. Now Ham dives down to the inside, but not able to make the pass as they go down North Gregson Boulevard.
And I'm telling you, Jake, I don't think he's trying to make the pass right now. I think he's just trying to make Regis think about it. Force him into a mistake. See if you can get him to overdrive and let that pass open up for you. But I'm telling you, one thing I'm seeing out of that 8 car is it looks like he's getting a little more defensive. He's taking a little bit wider lines, driving it in a little deeper. This is something we haven't really seen him have to do yet. See if he's able to keep Jake Ham behind him as they head out through here.
Yep, head down through here. Go-kart track over to their right, making the left-hand turn, going into the speed-filled carousel here at Road America. This time around, it'll be 3 laps to go. Jake Ham is putting all the pressure that he can on Regis Clark. Ham going through right here in the back half of the back part of the racetrack, through the kink, down into the corners, 180 miles an hour. Jake Ham hits, goes to the left, tries to get Clark to jump up, put the block. He does put the block on him, and now they were going maybe contact. Ham might have got him in the back end. Clark tries to get away as they go through gravel trap corner, and now Clark has opened up that gap just a little bit.
Yeah, Jake Ham had a huge run down that straightaway, and he was able to pull in even without the help of that push to pass. He just got an absolute killer run in the draft through the kink. See if he can set it up again as they go down the front straightaway and head off into turn 1.
Clark still holding on to that lead. Ham behind him. Menace still sitting back there about 6 seconds back, so don't count out the 364. Like I said, 85 and 8, get into it. And Zachary Menace may be able to pull one, literally pull a rabbit out of the hat, get him a win here at Road America. But the battle is on. Everybody's sitting right here watching with 3 to go. Clark, Ham down the boulevard and into the sharp left-hander. Ham's kind of sliding back a little bit. I mean, what do you think, Daniel? Is this by design, sliding back a little bit, trying to get off Clark?
I just got to wonder if with as close as he was, it's so hard to keep that gap when he's less than 1/10 of a second back of Regis Clark. You're in that dirty air. You just don't have the downforce you need. Got to wonder if he maybe got the tires a little hot. Get back off, cool them off, and try to get a run here on him in these last 2 laps. As you see him heading through the carousel, kind of see it looks like he's struggling with that front grip, trying to peek out a little bit from behind Regis and keep some clean air on the front of that thing.
It doesn't help that a couple of corners that we saw just a second ago, there was gravel all over the racetrack as they go into the gravel trap turn. Check it out. Ham tried to go left, right, trying to figure out where the hole will be to try to make the pass. As now they go through the turn 12, work up through 13 and back to turn 14 and back to the line. Remember, folks, a lot of dirt out there, 129 track temp. And Jake Ham, he's literally, would you agree he's kind of fighting a losing battle a little bit here with no push to pass, the track temp, the dirty track? He's got to dig down deep and have some heart and figure out a way to get around Clark, short of just straight up dumping him.
Yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him. It honestly looks like he may be a little bit faster than Regis Clark, especially as we get onto that last straightaway in the final section there. When he comes through that kink, he gets such a huge run on Regis Clark, even with Regis being on the push to pass. We saw it there that last lap. He was able to pull about 1/10 and a half, even without having that assist. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can set something up. And man, he's using every inch of the track and then some through that turn.
180-mile-per-hour game of chicken right here at Road America. I know Warren Clayton out there said a game of chess, but I look at it as they're playing chicken with one another. Clark taking it to the top, literally playing with Ham, Ham playing with it back. They dive down in, go into the carousel with 2 to go, coming back this time with a white flag lap. Ham has got to find something. He's got to find the hole. The holes are there, and the spots are there. The positioning is there. Ham trying to work his way through the kink, in the draft, going to gravel trap corner, coming back around this time to try to hit the white flag.
And Regis Clark only has about 19 seconds of that push to pass left. I think what Jake Ham needs to do is keep that pressure on, try to get him to burn the rest of it. He might be able to get Regis to burn it before that back straightaway. If he can keep getting that run like he has been, we might be setting up for a last turn pass here, Jake.
Very good possibility coming up through the front stretch to hit up the hill and going to the line. White flag this time around. Bell lap here at Road America. Who's it going to be? Regis Clark or Jake Ham? Ray Ellingson chiming in. She's going with Clark. Ham trying to dive down into turn 1. They go into turn number 2 to get ready for the boulevard. Ham is all over his back door.
And you can see Regis was starting to take a little bit of a defensive line there, started moving to the inside earlier under braking. He's definitely looking at that mirror, seeing where that 85 car is. And he still does have 7 seconds of push to pass left. See if Jake Ham can get that run as they head down into the turn.
Down makes the hard left-hander. Ham will follow, working her way through all the dirt, all the track tip, the push to pass. Ham overshoots the corner, got up at the top of the hill. That might be all she wrote. Clark makes a right hand, goes down where the go-kart is on the right, hangs the lefts, going for the carousel, and he's trying to get him 2 out of 3 here in the IndyCar Series presented by Lincoln Tech.
That might be all Regis Clark needed. This is the section of the track, though, that Jake Ham seemed to be a little bit faster than Regis Clark. See, the gap is currently at 0.8 of a second, pulling it back a little. Regis on the push to pass. He's going to have to defend hard here. As you see, Jake is pulling back a little bit on him, down to half a second now as they head down into Canada Corner.
And I'm telling you what, oh, baby, Ham took one shot, wasn't able to make it work. Clark's just got to be perfect for 2 more quarters, and he will get the win here at Road America. 13-14 now. He goes to the right, and Regis Clark will be able, slides off 14. Ham takes one last-ditch effort to try to even get close to him, trying to break the draft. Regis Clark at the top of the hill. He will win here tonight at Road America. Jake Ham comes home second. Perfect race for Regis Clark all the way from start to finish, from the pass in the grass to all the blocking and all the push to pass, if you will. He gets it done and gets the win here tonight at Road America.
Yeah, just an absolutely amazing drive there for Regis Clark. He had to pull every trick he had out there on those last few laps to keep Jake Ham behind him. And I'm going to tell you what, he did one hell of a job, and Jake did a hell of a job trying to catch him, too.
And we still got battles going on the racetrack. Jason Kristen back here trying to work his way around with Devin Smith. Battle still going on the racetrack. But Regis Clark does get that win. So congratulations to Mr. Regis Clark, Jake Ham, Zachary Minnis, the top 3. We'll talk to those drivers here in just a little bit. They ain't doing no burnouts. They're just parking it right there, right before the Corvette hill, if you will, Corvette corner, however you want to look at it. They're just parking right there and just kind of hanging out and get ready to celebrate here on a beautiful Wednesday night at Road America. Well, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break, round up our podium finishers, give you the race results, post-race, and let you know where we're going next week, as well as wrapping it up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here at Road America.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Well, folks, we are back here at Road America. What a thrilling finish to a road course race. I mean, y'all know me. I'm a redneck. I'm not real big on road courses, but I'll tell you this much. It sure turned out to be a straight up daisy here this evening. Get you your race results here tonight at Road America. And Regis Clark comes home with the win, battling it out with Jake Ham for give or take around 5-6 laps. The final 6 laps was a straight up dandy, as I said. Regis Clark gets the win. Jake Ham will get second. Zachary Menace fell off just a little bit. He had a shot, thought he may end up giving Regis Clark a run for his money, but he will settle for third here tonight. We'll talk to those drivers here in just a little bit. Jake Ellenson comes home in the 4th spot with Tyler Justice finishing in P5. Brandon Evans, very quiet night for the U.S. Army, number 39. Started 12th. He will finish 6th. Jason Christen will end up finishing in the 7th spot. Mind you, neither one of those drivers even took a qualifying time. They started at the back, and they still get top 10s when it's all said and done. Devin Smith will get 8th, with Kevin Price finishing 9th, and Brock Price rounds out the top 10.
Taking a look at the rest of our field here, we had Jamie Libke coming home in 11th, Tyler White in 12th, Brian Provo, the pole sitter tonight, finishing in 13th, Ricky Sisk Jr. finishing in 14th, Samuel Egg finishing in 15th, and as it turns out, the 99 is terrible tonight. Little joke for our Goat Locker friends. Brandon Wallace finishing in 16th.
Yeah, I don't even think he took a lap at this point from what it shows. I don't even think he might have went out there, popped a couple practice laps off, and then finally just said to hell with it. I'm gonna go have a couple cold ones on a Wednesday night, and I'll kick back and watch Goat Locker here on V Speed. We'll bring up our race winner here at Road America, Regis Clark, getting it done. 2 out of 3 to start the season. Regis, congratulations on the win. Tell us about that battle with you and Jake Ham in those final 5 or 6 laps.
Oh man, dude, that was rough. Me and Jake were both saving fuel the last 2 stints. And he caught me pretty quick, and I decided I had to go and used up all my push to pass in those last 7 laps.
Well, you did a phenomenal job there, Regis. And, you mentioned the push to pass and you were trying to save fuel. So how close were you on fuel and how were you trying to balance that with using that push to pass as far as when to try to utilize it?
I think I crossed the line. I had 0.4 gallons left. Cut it real close. There was just a point where, Jake caught me with, I think it was 5 to go, and I decided, it's either now or nothing. So I stopped saving and just went for it.
They had to be careful with that fuel out there, making it sound like it's $5 a gallon. Didn't want to spend any more money on it. Regis Clark ends up getting the win here tonight. Regis, one final question, and then you can transition that to your sponsors and shout-outs. A lot of factors here tonight at Road America. I mean, there was dirt all over the racetrack. We thought y'all was going to have to break out the dirt tires there for a hot minute. But the dirt all over the track, 129 degrees on the track temp, and all these corners and everything else. Which was the big factor that you had to fight through here this evening?
I think the big factor was that pile up in turn 1, honestly. I don't know what happened yet. I gotta go back and look at it. But it was slick. I was sliding around a lot. I locked up a few times. There was a ton of grab on the track, so it was real rough race.
Regis Clark gets the win here tonight. Regis, you got any sponsors, any shout outs that you want to thank?
Yeah, big shout out to Lincoln Tech, sponsored the series. Save 22, the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs. They all do great things for veterans. Black Sheep Racing with a 1-2 finish tonight with me and Jake. And then shout out again to Burnouts for Bennett. Great charity for a strong young man.
Well, Regis Clark, 2 out of 3 to start the season. He's going to try to go 3 out of 4 when we go to Milwaukee next week. Regis Clark, appreciate your time. Congratulations on the win, buddy. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
That was Regis Clark. Got the win, beat out Jake Ham any way that he could. And speaking of which, we'll talk to Jake Ham. Jake, buddy, oh God, baby, you come on second. You were so damn close there for a second. I thought you was actually going to be able to make the pass on Regis. What more could you have done?
I could have showed up before qualifying. I think if I showed up before qualifying, I would have had a chance. This is the first time I've ran this course in this car, and so I would say it was a job well done. I'm pretty pleased with myself driving up through that and coming in second. I thought I was toast. I thought this is going to be the laughing stock of the season here, just showing up like that. But I don't know. Something clicked, and I'm pretty happy.
Well, Jake, you did an absolutely phenomenal job, especially coming in with no practice, essentially, like you mentioned, with this car. And, something that Regis mentioned during his interview, 1-2 finish for your team. And I'll be completely honest, I forgot that y'all were teammates. So what was going through your mind there those last few laps? I mean, you were just about touching his rear wing. What was going through your mind there those last 5 or so laps, being that close and trying to race a teammate for the win?
Don't hit him. That's all I wanted to not do, was hit him. And there was a couple times I think he got a little loose, and I could have swore we touched, but I don't think we did. But when I had gotten by Zach, I was like, oh man, I'm back, like second and a half, something like that, 2 seconds. I'm just going to chill. And then I don't know what happened there, but it was just clicking really good. And then I got up behind Regis, and he, I found out he had 100 seconds left to push to pass. I think I asked him, and then come to find out he had used it all. And I opened my mouth, and the guy saved 7 seconds because I asked him again. He saved 7 seconds. If I wouldn't have said anything, he wouldn't have had any on that last lap, and it would have been a barn burner, man. It would have been good. But at the end of the day, it was really, really fun. I don't think I've had that much fun racing like that. Just good, hard, quality racing like that on a road course in a really long time. So I'm pretty pleased to turn out.
Well, I'll tell you this much. To quote the great Jim Ross with WWF, WWE, whatever the hell it is now nowadays, that was a straight up slobber knocker between both of y'all. So congratulations on the win. Or second place finish, Jake. Sorry, I'm thinking last
All
night,
good.
but Jake, buddy, congratulations on the second place finish. Before we let you go, any sponsors, any shout outs, and real quick, I ask you the same question that I asked Regis Clark. What do you think was the biggest factor to trying to get around Road America here this evening?
I definitely the tires. The tires. I'm glad that we started on the alternates and ran qualifying in them. And then when we hopped over to just run primaries to see how they ran, there was a massive drop off on those alternates. And when I was racing Zach there, I locked him up on the last probably 3 laps multiple times, overshot the corners. Once I hopped the primaries, end of it, man. You could push those things pretty dang hard. You didn't have to be easy going into the brake zones, even at the end of the stint. That, I feel like, was the deciding factor there.
Jake Ham comes home with second here tonight, buddy. Congratulations on that. Any sponsors, any shout outs before we let you go?
Heck yeah. Jim Printing Promotions, Lincoln Tech, and then obviously you guys and Alexander PCs, Mike Browning for the awesome paints, and then got to give a shout out to Regis's paint. That is just a kick-ass paint. Whoop, kick butt paint, my bad. And then, but yeah, Mike Browning for the paints that we got. And everybody that comes by and watches, I love, again, to go back and watch. I'm super pumped to go back and watch this one. Hopefully we got some good footage there of us at the end, so it'll be great to see.
Was an absolute blast to watch y'all slug it out. J-Cam comes home second here this evening. He'll take it. And, buddy, congratulations on that. We'll see you at Milwaukee, just up the road from Road America. We'll see you there next week.
Woo!
That was Jake Cam. Send him back down to the waiting room. Bring up our third place finisher, which, there for a second, honestly, I thought Zachary was going to have a good shot to possibly battle him for the win. Zachary Metis comes home in the third position here this evening. Zachary, congratulations on that. Buddy, tell us about your race because, you made it interesting right there at the end.
Yeah, it was a good race. I kind of think I started different than everybody else in the top 8 by starting on the primaries. I was kind of hoping to go primary reds, but it was a bad choice to go with the reds at the end there. The track was just too hot and it was eating them up. So, if I could have stayed on the primaries, I think I would have been up there with those two.
What you talked about it with those primaries and with primaries and the alternates, and we even talked about a little bit at the beginning of the race that you were on that alternate strategy. I with Jake though, I thought that you had it. I thought that might have been the way to go to try to do something a little different. Was it just? Did you just need like a shorter stint there at the end on those alternates, or what? At that point, did it really matter with just how they fell off tonight?
I think if I was able to save the fuel the right way, if I had about 6 to 8 lap stint, I could have been up there. Those primary or those alternates, sorry. The left rear, once it was hitting 260, it was done, and you were struggling for traction out of the corners. So I had to really back down into my fuel mapping and adjust my brake bias to be able to stay alive. And, I was kind of hoping I could use my push to pass there to kind of stay with Jake and keep him behind me. But doing that, it putting too much, speed into the car and just having a hard time getting it to turn. But yeah, if it had been overcast, slightly cooler, then I think the track was like 120, 130 degrees, then those primaries would have been a good final stint for a 3-way shootout for the win.
Well, Zachary Metis, he'll take a third here tonight at Road America. Zachary, one final question, and then you can transition that to your sponsors and shout outs. Road course, then we're going to the short track next week of Milwaukee, baby. How are we feeling when we go to Milwaukee next week?
I raced all season in the GT3, so I kind of have a love for road courses. I understand road courses better. When it comes to ovals, I kind of struggle finding long run speed in those and getting tight in the Indy cars especially. And so, it's going to be an interesting race and it'll be fun to learn because I've only raced there once before. So it'll be interesting. I'll probably just kind of hang out, have fun, not really push it unless I'm feeling confident in the car. So it'll be an interesting race after this one.
Well, that makes one of us, I guess you could say, for loving the road courses because I hate racing on them. But I will say this, they put on a fantastic race each and every time. Zachary, congratulations on the third place finish. Appreciate your time. And real quick, any sponsors, any shout outs?
Yeah, just want to iRacing, they give out the 1-year subscription to people who get a sim rig here, which is awesome. And then Sim Motion, they're a great partner for us. They give sim racing equipment and with the sims that are given out in this in GLR, and then Lincoln Tech. I've been here. I think I've been in GLR for a year and a half now, and they do a lot of work with us, so it's great to see that. Do want to give a shout out to ThrottleWorks Racing that I'm a co-owner of. We have a Le Mans 24-hour race coming up this Saturday, so give us a view on Twitch if you don't mind. It's gonna be a challenging one from what it's looking like, a bunch of rain. So if you come join us, watch us struggle in the rain for 24 hours, that'd be great. And just want to thank GLR for putting on these events, especially in the summer when everybody's busy with their kids out of school and all that. Just still putting the volunteer hours in and all that to put these races on for us.
Zachary Menace, you come home third here tonight. Good luck on that 24-hour Le Mans thing. Hope you got plenty of beer ready for you when you get it going. But congratulations on the third place finish, buddy. We'll see you when we go to Milwaukee next week.
Yep, I'll see you guys next week. And well, I got the evening stint, so the beers are gonna have to come in the morning.
Damn. Well, I would have drank them when I went running. Anyway, appreciate your time, buddy.
Yes, see you guys. Thank you.
Oh, that was Zachary Menace. Obviously, gets third here tonight. Real quick before we go into what we're going to talk about next week, Daniel, any final thoughts on a wild race here tonight at Road America?
Man, I can't talk highly enough about all the drivers here in GLR and the way that they have taken to these Indy cars. It's not something that we run very often. It seemed like there were a lot of people last summer series that kind of struggled with these things, but man, these drivers have put on such an amazing show the first three races, and I mean, honestly, they've kind of made our job easy up here, giving us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, they absolutely have, buddy. I'm telling you what, it was an absolute blast here tonight at Road America. And next week, thank God, we're going back to ovals. The Milwaukee Mile, not too far from Road America, not 100%. I'm not a geographic expert, but I do know that it is in the same state of Wisconsin with the Cheesehead Country. Milwaukee Mile will be an absolute good one. Daniel, what's one thing that everybody could be looking forward to when we get to Milwaukee next week?
Well, we're back on an oval, and we saw how these guys raced at Indianapolis. It's going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be super huge with the draft. But, one thing that we'll have next week is we should have our Under the Helm segment back to talk about some of these tools these guys will have on the oval to combat the dirty air. So be showing people a little bit more about these Indy cars and learning as we go with them.
Absolutely. Milwaukee will be a damn good one. Cannot wait to when we get to Milwaukee Mile next week. It will be a blast. We'll see if Regis Clark can go 3 for 4, or will he be staying at 2 out of 4? Only time will tell. But folks, that's going to do it for this broadcast here live on V-Speed. We want to thank all of our great sponsors: Save 22, Jam Pretty Good Promotions for the Pole Award, Cruising Classics, Hidden Whip Brewery, Invets, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, obviously iRacing, and can't forget Lincoln Tech for the Lincoln Tech Indy Car Series for what they do. Shout out to the fans for always coming out in big old numbers. And obviously the drivers for putting on a hell of a show and making it interesting and really making it entertaining, I guess you could say, folks, for just being able to watch some of the best racing that Goat Locker has to offer. Obviously want to thank Eddie Smith, Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus, Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, all the guys at V-Speed, and obviously Patrick Drabick, Jamie Barkus, everybody at Goat Locker for allowing us to be ourselves and entertain you, the fans. For Lucas Lyons and Daniel Cunningham, I'm the Redneck Announcer, Jake Reeves. Said as I always say, be safe, be kind, be fast, and folks, thank God Almighty, we're going back to oval next week. And road courses are pretty good, but this is going to be a good one. Short track racing, 1 mile in length, all the way up here in Cheesehead Country where we was tonight. Milwaukee Mile. You do not want to miss it. Next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live and only on V-Speed with the Lincoln Tech Indy Car Series presented by Goat Locker.